Yeah, hello. Welcome to GMA Talk, your most beloved, your most favorite, your most awesome talk show on YouTube out there and all your favorite social media platform, GMA Talk. Please subscribe, please comment, please like, please share with everybody this video, this channel, and all my other videos. And really, thank you very much to everybody who has thus far watched, who has this far shown some love, who has this far supported me. I really appreciated for supporting GMA Talk. This is a long-term project in all things related to refugees around the world, being informed and then calling people to action. That's what GMA Talk is all about. So, this week we are talking some things which are happening right here in Canada, around the country. So, we will be covering in this video today migrant workers, refugees, undocumented workers, asylum seekers, and even international students. So, this coronavirus has been a challenge for everybody. And just like around the world, governments have put in measures and continue to put in measures to help and support citizens, residents, and also those who are within the country. But some of this support haven't trickled down to everybody. Some of this support haven't reached everybody that needs them. Some of this support really hasn't been favorable to all populations within the country. So, and that's why we decided today to cover what is happening right here in Canada in terms of during this pandemic of coronavirus, otherwise as known as COVID-19. So, what is happening really? So, how can this be addressed? Uh, which support is needed? What are these people? So, here on GMA Talk, we want to really inform people on the real situations that are happening and sometimes on the situations which really affect people, but you rarely see it in the media or government officials rarely talk about. So, recently, as a result, since the country lockdown here in Canada, as a result of the pandemic, migrant workers have been working in, who have been working in farms or even other essential services such as healthcare, and also asylum seekers also have been working in farms, healthcare and other essential services, and also international students have also found jobs, either in farms or healthcare or other essential services. So, but these people have really, for the majority part of them, they've really been facing a lot of challenges because in terms of the immigrations status. So, for example, in the Ontario province and in Quebec province here in Canada, there have been stories of farm workers who have been affected with coronavirus, and then at the same time they have not really received the needed support or received the reach out, whether it's to government or whether it's to the employers. So first of all, in terms of migrant workers, when migrant workers come here in Canada to work, their visa is tied to the employer. So, as a migrant worker, so there's a story which came out end of June. There's two migrant workers from Mexico who came for farming, and they had an employer in Ontario. So, these two workers, because the conditions in the farms they were not favorable in terms of health, in terms of protection, or some of the conditions that also others been going through, because there have been about 3 deaths of migrant workers in Ontario province, and then at the same time, thousands more have been affected as a result of the have been affected with the coronavirus. So these two migrant workers invited an migrant activist to their home, or to the living room, or to the place which the employer provides. So as a result of these two migrant workers from Mexico inviting a migrant activist, a migrant rights activist, to come and talk to them, just to learn about the conditions at the farm, the work condition, and the support they are receiving. One co-worker snapped a picture of those two migrant workers speaking with the migrant activist, migrant right activist, and as a result of that, that picture ended up to the employer of those two migrant workers, and those migrant workers were made by the employer to sign a form of resignation or a form of release, and those two migrant workers were sent back to Mexico. So this is just one of the story of the many people that are struggling in some of these farms, uh, in terms of their rights not being respected, or in terms of the respect that as a human beings should be treated. And most of these migrant workers, whether they are affected or not, they're always afraid of speaking out against the employer. They're always afraid of seeking self-care and reaching out for support, because the employer really sponsors the work visa and the status, and as a result, that visa can be revoked if the specific people no longer work under the same employer who invited them through the visa, or who sponsored them through the visa. So unless the migrant workers get another immigration status, or get another opportunity in terms of transferring, or if that contract expires, then other arrangement can be made. So and then so just that is just one of the story in terms of the challenges that migrant workers are facing. So most of the time, even though they experience abuses from the employer, even though they are sick, even though there's a lot of unfavorable workable condition, they still have to report to work, or sometimes with little choice or with little care, because they are afraid of being sent home, because they are afraid of being deported. And this coronavirus really has made a lot of migrant workers, a lot of asylum seekers, a lot of international students really afraid to speak against the unfavorable conditions they experience in the workplace, because many of them are afraid of being deported, or their visa revoked, or even the employer sending them home. So it's up to all of us, whether it's in government, whether it's members of representative, whether it's elected officials, whether it's NGOs, whether it's businesses, whether it's regular citizens. We really need to call for greater accountability among employers who sponsoring migrant workers, whether it's for farming, whether it's for healthcare and other essential services, and just all across employment in Canada. There really need to be a fair system which gives migrant workers full access in terms of self-care, in terms of self-care, healthcare, counseling services, and then also having that choice really, of leaving the employer should abuse happen, or should employer threaten to revoke their visa and send them back home. And most of undocumented migrant workers, asylum seekers, and migrant workers, they've been also helping greatly in healthcare, food, other essential services across the country here in Canada. And so, as a result of this, there have been movement across in different cities across Canada to really uh, push for the government to grant status for all. And in granting status for all, the government will be protecting these people from further abuse. And then beside that, these people who have been working in essential services, that is really a great appreciation, because after all, every country need immigration, every country need migrant workers, every country need international student. And as such, out of this pandemic, really, some exceptions need to be made, some exceptions should be made, and therefore I'm calling on the Canadian government, the Prime Minister, and the Minister of Refugees, Immigration, and Citizenship, to really grant status for all of these immigrant, for all of these migrant, for all of these asylum seekers, for all and these undocumented people, for all of this international student. And really, healthcare should really be made accessible and provided to them, and other levels of support to ensure that they really are taken care of as they are helping across the country, as they are helping fellow residents, fellow Canadians, and fellow human beings. So, and on July 4th, there was movement or march or protest, across Canada in terms of pushing forth, for status for all, and then some of this movement was organized by Migrant Worker Network, and then also Migrant Workers Alliance for Change, and also Migrant Student United, all of these organizations. And then there's also another organization which we call Canadian Council for Refugees, which has been also forefront in terms of educating people and pushing for equal treatment, for equal fair system, and status for all, for the different kind of migrants across Canada, across this beautiful land which we love and call home. And some of these asylum seekers who have had their cases, at the Immigration and Refugee Board, in terms of hearing the refugee status result or application, this application have been stalled or have been not be able to go through because of the coronavirus, or the pace is slow. So as a result of all this means, so people are in limbo. They don't know what to do. They don't know if it's gonna be deported. They don't know if they're gonna be rejected. And then at the same time, they have to worry about themselves, their self-care, and also providing, for other family members across the world where they come from. So really, I call everybody to join hands, protest, educate, be informed at the situation that's happening to migrant workers across the country here in Canada, and also really around the world, at the situation which is happening to international students, the support, at the situations which is happening to undocumented workers, at the situation that is happening to asylum seekers. Here in Canada and the world, different government really should put in measures to educate, to support, to care for, and ensure immigration status, full immigration status for all. These are unprecedented time and call for unprecedented measures. Let's all united. Let's all stay strong. Let's all support each other. Because people shouldn't be afraid. You shouldn't be able to stay in your workplace, despite the abuse, despite of this disrespect, despite of the threats, because you're afraid to be sent home. And this should stop now. So, status for all. Employers really shouldn't have that tool in the hand and threatening people to be sent home despite the conditions, despite the situation that they are facing. So let's all unite, let's all be informed, and call for status for all here in Canada, for migrant workers to have status, for undocumented workers to have status, for international students to have status, for asylum seekers to have status, for refugees to have status, because these are unprecedented time which call for unprecedented measure, and these people are beneficial for this country, and they've proven over and over again their hard working, their loyalty, and their support to this country, working in the front lines during this COVID-19, putting their lives at risk during this COVID-19, to make sure the supply chain of food, medical, manufacturing of masks, some of these people have been there and continue to be there for the Canadian population, for the Canadian resident, and everybody in Canada. So the least we can do, the more we can do, the generosity we can do, the human that we can do is to ensure they're well taken care of, they're well insured, and they're not abused, and that they know that they are welcomed in this country, and they know that they're appreciated in this country. So to the Canadian government, please, status for all, for all, for all, for all. Thank you very much for watching GMA Talk. Yours truly, Gerard Mutabazi Amani. Please subscribe, please like, please comment, please share this video, and please be informed, take action. Call upon your members of legislature to guarantee status for all. Call upon your federal government, the provincial government, the city government to push for status for all. Call upon businesses for greater accountability in treating people as human beings. Love, peace, and unity. Thank you very much. See you next week right here on GMA Talk. Please subscribe.